Andrew Schmidt, SCHMIDT, Vice President, St Pat's Race Club, Cos.
And the website for the races.
stpatricks.org.au.
Beautiful. All right, what milestones going on this year? Why is it going to be such a big day?
50th race meeting, a race meeting that started in 1966, and here we are all these years later. A race meeting built on the back of volunteers, a race meeting that's got the whole community involved, one of the great outback race meetings. We're expecting up to 10,000 people. It is going to be massive. We're hoping this year to have a crowd of around 10,000 people. 65% of our visitors come from South Australia. Many come from regional South Australia, from the West Coast through to Port Pirie, Port Augusta, Whyalla, a number of people from Adelaide. We're also getting a lot of visitors travelling from country New South Wales up into Queensland. We've even got some people flying in from the US of A and the UK, but predominantly 65% from SA. That's why that particular group is so important to us. Broken Hill may be geographically in New South Wales, we're only 20 minutes from the South Australian border, but we get South Australian newspapers, we get South Australian television. We supply half the decent footballers in South Australia to this state and have done for many, many years. We are realistically part of South Australia. The reason we stay in New South Wales is because they love the royalties out of the mining companies. You're never going to get your hands on that. They drink Farmers Union iced coffee, they eat pies and pasties, and most of all, they love Lion Nathan products, in particular 4X.
Beautiful.
This year we really ramped it up, and there's so much program around race day as well, so many activities in the days leading up, on the day itself, and this year we're going to extend the race day experience for people who go. We're going to have a stage set up at the far end of the lawn, we're going to have 2 bands going, we're going to have barbecues, we're going to have extra bars, we're going to have entertainment. We want to make it that people can go to the races at 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, they can watch the races, we've got $20,000 worth of fashions on the field, special guests, and then they can party on after at 8 o'clock at night, and they will really have a St Pat's experience. When the race meeting first started in 1966, South Australian Brewing came on board day one. In those days, it was West End, it was Southwark. All the way through, Lion Nathan have been with St Pat's, every step of the way. Not just the sponsorship dollars, but the in-kind support. When it was first floated about having a beer can, the 4X can, depicting and promoting St Pat's, we were over the moon. I mean, we couldn't be happier. Wonderful relationship we have with the brewery. They managed to get hold of John Dinan, the world famous Silverton-based artist, and if you see the can, it is absolutely spectacular. We owe a huge debt of gratitude to the brewery for the work they've put in with us. As I said, not only in sponsoring the race, but the in-kind support, and without them, we wouldn't be racing today. In 1977, the club decided to use local artists to design posters and work with us, and names such as Pro Hart and Jack Absalom were to the fore in those days. John Dinan's done a couple of race posters for us in 1993 and 2011, and we wanted that unique look on the can that would fit in with that outback red dirt theme, and John Dinan's name was the first one to come up. He is a very talented individual. He's very passionate about Broken Hill and Silverton, where he lives, the ghost town. He's very passionate about our event. So the ideas were thrown around, and what he's come back with, we believe, and the brewery believes, is probably the best promotional can they've ever produced.
What does St Paddy's mean to you?
Obviously, being from Broken Hill, whenever you hear the word or event St Pat's, it brings a lot of great memories. A lot of people still back there, that my family, all my best mates. So I know that's a big reunion for Broken Hill, and coming up 50 years, there's going to be a lot of people that get back there and enjoy the day. So I'm hopefully that everyone that gets back there can have a bloody awesome day. Probably shouldn't have said bloody, but yeah, it's a big event for Broken Hill. It's probably the biggest event on the calendar. I spoke to my old man a couple of weeks ago, and he said that every accommodation in Broken Hill has been booked out for months in advance. So for the town itself, it's a massive day and massive probably week leading up to it. So it's going to be very exciting for Broken Hill. I like to think that you can have a breakfast with all your loved ones and all your great mates, and then you head out pre-race day. Go out there, enjoy there's a lot of, actually you think there's a dirt track, and then you look, there's a massive grassed area, a lot of tents, a lot of tables and chairs, and obviously with the new pavilion up, it provides a lot of different scenes for different people. So it's a cracking day, and I like to get in the betting room with the mates. So it's a great environment to enjoy a great day in Broken Hill. I think every St Pat's, there's not too many memories after a big day out at the race day, but Yeah, I've been to a few. There's obviously been some that I've missed, but my mates back home always fill me in on how such a good day it was, and I reckon this 50 years one is not going to be any different. Oh, obviously 50 years in any sort of thing, but racing, I think it's going to be massive for Broken Hill. I know the people that work for St Pat's and the amount of hard work, time and effort they put into getting this day up every year. To reach 50 years is an outstanding achievement, so I'm sure it'll run smoothly and they'll all have a great day.
John Patrick Dynon, D-Y-N-O-N.
Beautiful, mate. Well, tell us about your involvement this year in St Paddy's.
Yeah, it's just, I usually do posters for the races and that, and this year they approached me to do the cam, which I was very happy with, because Pro Art's the only other one outside of me that's done one, so I'm very happy. Don't know, it doesn't feel real really when you think about it, but I still like what's inside of it. I love it. It's just one big party. You know, sometimes you might never see a race, you're just drinking with your mates and all your friends come back from away, and it's just a big special day to catch up with old people, you know, old friends and that. It's good. Well, Broken Hill, it brings in a lot of money and, you know, a lot of people to the town. And then Recovery Day at Silverton on the Sunday, which is the day after the races. Everyone's drunk and crook, but they'll go to Silverton, there's music, there's more drinking, and so you don't really recover, but we call it Recovery Day. Yeah, I just love painting funny things and emus and things, and when they asked me to do the can, I thought, well, it's got to be something special, and it's got to fit on the can and all this, so I thought I do paint the emu a fair bit, so I thought, well, I'll pop a hat on him and turn him into an Irishman, and yeah, it's just how I went.
One place that's always high on my agenda is St Paddy's Races. It's the 50th year, so I think starting with a round of applause for the committee, 50 years is a massive achievement. Hands up who hasn't been to St Paddy's Races. Yeah? Look, I just think St Paddy's Races is one of the best race days. I think it is the best race day in Australia as far as I'm concerned. I went up sort of by default once, and I've been back the last 7, 8, 9 years. So we've taken horses up there to run the last 4 of those, and we won last year. Not the cup, sadly, but we won, and we'll take another horse back this year. It's just the atmosphere. I think what appealed to me is that the whole town embraces it. The city of Broken Hill really gets behind it. They're expecting about 10,000 this year, and it's going to be an absolute cracker. So I'm very, very excited. We've even moved an overseas holiday to get to St Paddy's, and when you're up there you hear people with so many similar stories, people missing out on key events in their life just to be at St Paddy's. There's just something about it. It gets in your blood, and once you get to know the committee, you even more fall in love with them. So we're going to have a chat to a few people that have had a lot to do with the St Paddy's races, and we're here to celebrate, of course, the 4X Gold Can and have a look at it. They've done a sterling job. I'm going to be pretty pumped to be knocking back about 55 of these on race day. Mid-strength, you just got to drink them faster, but it is a great can with a great design. So thanks very much.
And he's put on 2 kilos a year since then. So, but I just want to acknowledge your work over the years. Trevor's been absolutely fabulous. We really acknowledge it and appreciate it, mate, and thank you very much. Fantastic stuff. Trev, thank you. Be remiss if I didn't acknowledge also Amanda and the marketing crew, Craig, manager. Obviously you've got good Broken Hill blood pumping through. Ladies and gentlemen, just want to reiterate what Cozzy said. Really appreciate you coming here today as we launch our 50th race meeting. Started back in 1966, where SA Brewing in those days rolled in the 18-gallon kegs, plastic cups on the bar, guns going up and down. RSA was never heard of, security wasn't heard of, and the only coppers there were getting pissed. So things have changed a lot. We're pretty pumped about this year's race meeting. Our race event's been built on volunteers, community involvement, which is absolutely fantastic. In 1977, the artists in Pro Heart and Jack Hatchland came on board with our various race day posters. And when the idea was floated about having this special can, and Bruce and Jumbo brought it up, we were absolutely rapt. And we're thinking, well, who are they going to get to do it? There's so many talented artists. Well, they went outside of Broken Hill, just down the road 23 k's, to Silverton, which is a ghost town. John Dynon is the mayor, and his lovely wife Deb is the mayoress of Silverton. And I think the end result that's come up here today is exceptional. So, John, can I just publicly acknowledge and thank you very much from the race club's point of view, mate. Well done. The town drunk and town sheriff, all right. You got the trifecta. As Cozzy said, we're a pretty special event, and one of the reasons I think we've been so successful is that we have whole community involvement. So you go to the races, the SES are doing the car park, you've got the swimming club, you've got the various footy clubs and everyone else. We're really excited about this year. Just to give you an idea of crowd numbers, I think already we've got 4,500 booked in. We're looking at a crowd of 10,000. Larko, who looks after our licensing requirements, is a fairly basic sort of bloke. I said to him 2 weeks ago, I said, mate, have you been through the spreadsheets and stock control from last year about how much 4X we're going to need? And he said, no, Schmindy, I've just doubled it. He's already ordered it. So we're really shaping up. We've had a lot of fantastic sponsors over the years. Our average race sponsor has been with us for 23 years apiece, but our longest association has been with SA Brewing, Lion Nathan. That's from 1966. We wouldn't be racing today, not so much just for the sponsorship dollars, but for the in-kind support we get from the brewery, which I'd like to publicly acknowledge today. Bruce has been working overtime the last few weeks. Prior to him, Jumbo had the reins. I remember when Trev first started on the brewery truck in Broken Hill, and we've worked it out. How many years, Trev? 30. And he's put on 2 kilos a year since then. So, but I just want to acknowledge your work over the years. Trev has been absolutely fabulous. We really acknowledge it and appreciate it, mate, and thank you very much. Fantastic stuff. Trev, thank you. Be remiss if I didn't acknowledge also Amanda and the marketing crew, Craig from the brewery, done a fantastic job, and Robbie, who's organised this today. Just want to also thank the guys here at the Alma, Simon Highwood, the manager. Obviously, got good Broken Hill blood pumping through his veins, so appreciate that. Also to Taylor for your support, mate. It doesn't matter if you're from Broken Hill, whatever you do, he's only too willing to give us a hand. And the smartest decision the Crows ever made was a couple of weeks ago in giving him the captaincy. That probably comes on the back that he was nurtured at the finest country football club in Australia and the most successful, the North Broken Hill Footy Club, so we'll get a plug in there as well, Tex. Good luck this year, mate. We thank you for your support as well, and everyone here at the Alma. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to keep it short, I'm going to keep it brief. There's a couple of racing identities here that Cozzy's going to have a quick chat to, but if you haven't been, please go, and if you are coming up, we look forward to having you back. Thanks.
The drive up for me, I'm actually from Victoria originally. In 2002, I'd only been in Adelaide for 2 years. So for me, driving up all the way up to Broken Hill was an experience in itself, and I loved that, seeing some of this great state. And we had to leave at 5 o'clock in the morning on the Saturday morning. Had a carload of jockeys heading up for the day out. And when we arrived, I said, "Is this the race course?" You couldn't see the track, but you could see the crowd. I said, "Where do we actually race?" Because the fence line and the railing rail was just in the middle of basically this desert, so you couldn't really tell until you actually got there where the actual circumference of the track was. And so I went out and walked the track and had a look around at the surface, and it's actually a dirt track, and I don't usually race a lot of dirt tracks, so I wasn't too thrilled about that. But it's beautiful sand there, and most of the horses that we take up there actually all race through the track really well, which is quite good, as you know. And I actually think I had a full book on the day, and it's always warm at Broken Hill, and we had no air conditioning, and we had all the windows open, all the jockeys. The girls' room is actually at the back of the boys' room, so you have to walk through the boys' room into the girls' room at the back. And if you want to get a cold drink, you've got to go through the boys' room. So it's all a bit of, all in one in this sort of, the country meets, but that's all right. It's a very interesting job being a jockey. As you probably heard me say before, Cozzy, equestrian's the only sport where men and women compete against each other on the same terms. The horses actually do the job, and I think it has shown that since females have been allowed to race against the guys, we've only been accepted, and we've all sort of stood the test of time now. I think it's really good, and I think it doesn't really matter if you're a boy or a girl. If you've got the horsemanship skills and you can ride the winners, then people put you on. So this is the Cup, and I was actually having a really bad day. I'd sort of gone up for a full book of rides, and I was running down the track and basically copping the dirt in my face, going, "This is, what did I come up here for? I'm not having any luck. I should have stayed home." And actually went out for the Cup. I think I was probably, I don't know if I was 100 to 1, but I was certainly large odds. And Jimmy Smith said to me, "She can win this race." I said, "Oh, really? Okay." Her form wasn't that good. But I drew really well, and I remember popping onto the fence behind the pace and travelling about 4th or 5th in the run. I actually thought, well, I'm happy here now. And I basically just closed my eyes because the dirt was coming back into my face, and I thought, I'm just going to wait here and wait here and wait here. And at the top of the straight, the run came and everyone peeled off, and I dived through. And when I got to the front at the furlong and heard the crowd just cheer, it was one of the best feelings I've actually ever had in racing. We hit the front, it's always great, but it was hilarious. And I came back in, the crowd was going off, and apparently a lot of people had backed it, and yeah, it was a really good feeling.
And the horse as well. I mean, obviously your name's Claire, Vandy Claire, and the owners were from Claire, I believe. Yeah, so it was a bit of a Claire trifecta. So,
Yeah.
so thanks so much for your time. Thanks for coming along, and cheers for everything you've done for the racing in South Australia. And give Claire Lindop a round of applause.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Claire.
I suppose our history with St Paddy's goes back to the start, and we're really proud of the fact that we've been supporting St Paddy's since their first run in 1966. So 50 years of running and 50 years of SA Brewing and line involvement is something we're really proud of. And obviously more recently we've been using our Forex brand as the main brand to support St Paddy's.
And
It's a great community event, brings people from all over the area into one spot for a special day, and it's a great social event, and that means a lot to us at Lion, and so we're keen that we're still a part of it, and hopefully we will be for many more years to come.
And tell us about the process of getting the can done. We've got a whole heap on display here. We're going to send you home with some as well. What's the process and the significance to have, St Paddy's on the back and 4X Gold on the front?
It's actually a really hard process. To get a brand team to sign off on doing a commemorative can is not something that happens easily or the brand team does lightly. So there's a lot of boxes we have to sort of get ticked for that to happen. But being such a significant event, 50 years involvement for Lion, the brand team thought it was a great thing to do. So we then approached John. So many thanks, John, for your work in collaborating with us again at Lion. And I think a really fantastic can. The image that John's painted is fantastic and really signifies what a great event it is, and all about the outback with the mines in the background, and everything else about it really signifies what the race day is about and what 4X Gold stands for as well. So we really appreciate that, John, and we're really proud of the way the cans come up, Cozzy.
And finally,